Welcome. Our lesson today is about using trig functions to solve side length problems. There are basically three steps that you need to go through to solve for a side length problem. First, under the mode, set the calculator to degrees rather than radians, and then press enter. If you don't change from degrees to radians, you will get garbage for an answer. Second, place your finger on the given angle. For example, right here, 53. Put your finger on it. Then ask the question, is the hypotenuse involved? Well, if I'd have this part right here, the hypotenuse is involved. If I have this part, then the hypotenuse is involved. Here, the answer would be yes, and you would say, all right, I would use the sign, which is opposite side, the side opposite. Well, this side is opposite, so that's not what we have. So we ignore this one, and we would use the next one, which is cosine, the adjacent side. So we'd use the cosine when the adjacent leg is known. If the opposite leg is known, we use sine over the hypotenuse. If the hypotenuse is not involved, if this is not there, then we would use the tangent, which is the side opposite to 53, 13, over the adjacent x. Now, let's give you some examples. I have three examples for you. The first one is example 1. Find x, round to the nearest tenth. All right. We've checked our calculator, which is set to degrees rather than radians. First step, put your finger on the angle that's given. And you ask yourself, is the hypotenuse involved? Well, here's your hypotenuse. Yeah, it's involved. So, what do I know? Do I know the side that's opposite or the side that's adjacent? Well, I need the adjacent, which is cosine. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So I'd write down cosine of 72 degrees is equal to the adjacent side, 6, over the hypotenuse of x. We have a proportion, so we do cross products. We multiply both sides by x, and we get this. X times the cosine of 72 is equal to 6. I'm looking for x, so I have to move the cosine of 72. How do I move it? Well, this is multiplication. I do the opposite, which is divide. Simplify leaves me with 6 divided by the cosine of 72. I punch this into my calculator, and I get 19.4 units as the length, right here. Is that reasonable? Well, it's opposite 72. 90 is the longest side. This has got to be the shortest side. It's opposite the smallest angle. It looks reasonable. Example number 2. We ask ourselves the same three questions. First, put your finger on the angle that's given, and you ask yourself, is the hypotenuse involved? Yes, it is. So it's either going to be sine or cosine. Well, what do we know? Well, we're looking for the opposite side, so this has to be sine. So we're looking for the sine of 21, which is equal to the opposite, x, over the hypotenuse of 22. Again, it's a proportion, so we cross multiply, use the cross products. And 22 times the sine of 21 is equal to x. I put this in my calculator, press enter, and I get 7.9 units. The next one, find x and round to the nearest tenth. Follow the same procedure. Put your finger on the given angle. Is the hypotenuse involved? Here's your hypotenuse. Do you have anything there? No. So it's not sine, it's not cosine. It has to be the tangent. And the tangent is the side that's opposite, in this case 14, over the side that's adjacent, x. Proportion, cross products, gives me x times the tangent of 49 is equal to 14. I have to move the tangent of 49, so I divide both sides by the tangent of 49, and I get this. Last step, put this into your calculator and press enter. You get 12.2 units. Go to Edmodo, find lesson 3.51, and complete the check for understanding.